Hi everyone, Pocono Prepper here. Just a short little video about why I decided to start prepping. Now when I started prepping, it was a number of years ago, and I didn't realize it was prepping when I was doing it. I was listening to crown.org, and Larry Burkett was talking about how the Lord was leading him to believe that there was going to be a financial disaster coming onto this country. And the Lord led him to begin teaching people that they needed to become financially ready for this event. Now, he didn't know when it was going to happen. He didn't know how many years that we had to prepare for it. But he strongly believed that the Lord was speaking to him and telling him, look, my people are going to die because my people don't know. They need to learn how to be responsible. They're too busy falling into what the world is saying. You need a big house, you need big cars, you need fancy boats, you need great vacations, you need clothes with the right labels in the back. You have to have your nails done, you have to have your toes done, you have to have the best hair color. Well, I'm not saying those things aren't nice to have, but the truth is, if you're doing those things and those things are beyond your means, if you're using charge cards or if you're staying in debt rather than getting out of debt because of the fact that you are getting all these things that the world says that you have to have if you're going to be somebody, that kind of spoke to me, and I felt that the Lord was saying to me too, you need to get out of debt, you need to watch your money. You need to become the Joseph. You need to be who the Bible talks about when they're talking about putting food away for 7 years and preparing for droughts and bad times. So I began the crown.org Money Map program. And I'm happy to say that I completed it, and I'm now on the SALT plan. And they are all ways for you to manage your money. But in the process of doing that, the Lord was also speaking to me and saying, you know what? This country went through a hard time a long time ago, and it was called the Great Depression. It was back in 1929, 30, 31, 32. You know, my mother was born back in that era. My grandmother was around at that time and working through it. She was a wallpaper hanger. She used to get $3 for doing the walls, $4 for a ceiling, $11 for a hallway. My grandmother was an incredible woman who raised 3 kids without any help. Way back then, that was unheard of. Well, anyway, I got to thinking about the Depression and how people survived the Depression. And I stumbled across this video on YouTube called Depression Cooking with Clara. And Clara is a 90-year-old grandmother who lived through the Depression, and she talks about what her family did. And one of the things she talks about is a garden, and how they would grow a garden. And their main meal during the week was pasta. And it was pasta with whatever they had. Pasta and peas, pasta and carrots, pasta and onions. It was pasta, pasta, pasta. And only on Sundays did they have their big meat day. The rest of the time, they had to live very frugally, and she explains this in her videos. Again, I got into this because I believed the Lord was telling me to get out of debt to manage my money better, and the Lord was telling me, you need to learn simple stuff, not necessarily everything about going to McDonald's or going out to restaurants. And believe me, the best thing I make is reservations, but the truth is, my husband and I are learning a lot of stuff, and even though he's not on board with prepping, he is on board with learning how to do unique and different things when cooking, because he loves to cook. So I use that to my advantage. So that's how I got into prepping. If you're just new to prepping, don't be afraid by some of the things that you're hearing. We're all in this together, and we're going to learn it one step at a time. So